now listening to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the 15-minute show, part of the Arsenal Therapy Podcast. Today we're going to talk about Max Dowman. He went on Arsenal's Asia pre-season tour as the most hyped 15-year-old in youth football. He leaves the tour as the most hyped 15-year-old in men's football. Max Dowman truly lit things up for Arsenal on the Asia tour. He got way more minutes than any of us imagined. 30 minutes against Milan, 30 minutes against Newcastle, and then due to the added time against Tottenham, he got the best part of 20 minutes in that game as well. Max truly owned the stage. He was one of the true standout figures on the tour. And what's interesting is this is a player who didn't look out of his depth. I want to emphasize as well, this isn't going to the Austrian Alps and playing against farmers. This is playing against top sides. And those top sides don't want to be humiliated. They don't want to be embarrassed. And they laid some very strong tackles on our senior players. Bukayo Saka was kicked into the ground against Tottenham. Max Dowman was trusted to come on in a game that was very physical and that Tottenham didn't want to lose. He came on ahead of other senior players at Arsenal. He came on instead of Ethan Nwaneri in that game. And it's clear that Mikel Arteta trusts him. I don't want to place too much pressure on him, and I think fans need to be cautious of that. We saw it with Ethan Nwaneri, the sheer outcry for game time last season. We don't know how these boys' bodies will grow. And that's the thing, they're children. They're 15 years old. It seems weird doing a show about him, but this is a kid that's going to be discussed on every channel all over the world, on the biggest stations, and Arsenal are thrusting him into that media spotlight. And his performances are only going to take him to a bigger level. But first up, I mentioned some of the players he's playing against. When he came on, he was on the same side as Son, one of Spurs' best ever players, a seasoned pro, a Premier League top performer for a decade, and someone that's proven at the international stage and is a global megastar because of how big he is in Asia. And on that side, Tottenham looked very strong yesterday. Dowman came on and he looked like a presence. He was being doubled up on. He was being tripled up upon. And I just want to say, it's very rare for wingers to be doubled up upon. It's even rarer for someone to be tripled up upon. That's something that we see of Bukayo Saka. We've seen it with Lamine Yamal. But for a 15-year-old making only his third senior appearance to be tripled up on in a pre-season friendly whilst facing a low block, that's an experience he will never have had before. And that's something that he is going to have to get used to. So these kind of experiences, whilst tough, these are going to help Max grow. But I'm going to look at some of his highlights. We've got playing footage here. We've got stuff from his time in the 17s. But I've edited together stuff from the tour. And I want to look at some of his key actions in these games. So first up, we're going to look at his shots. And I'm going to start with him at under 17 level and something that he did in the under 17 Euros. And I think these clips will highlight, the reason I've picked them is because they will show you parts of what he was doing at youth level and how it's translating already into the men's game. First up, look at how Max carries the ball. Look at how he stood up. I've paused it here. He gets the ball. He gets very close. You can see how close the defender is. His right foot is going in towards Max. Max can see that. He's got the ball on his left foot and then bang, straight away, shimmies it one way, throws the defender. Defender has to turn onto his left to go. Next minute, Max pulls the ball right, and then he's back. He's turned it again, and the defender has moved twice within a second, and he's completely thrown. But the whole time, Max has his head up. You can see it at this point. Head goes down to look at the ball, straight back up, upright, turns. The defender's left fallen. He's stumbling. He's trying to get his balance back. He knows that he's lost this battle, and Max is in. Gets the ball, again, multiple options in the box. He's got his head up the whole time. This is something that I absolutely love, and I'm going to keep emphasizing this throughout this video. Max plays with his head up, shoulders back, and look at him here. Look at his technique. He opens his full body, and he can just open his body, whip that ball with his left foot into the bottom corner, and everyone's beaten. This is something that's not unnatural for him. And this is another example, and you've seen this. Everyone that's watched Max on this tour has seen him do this already in the men's game. This was against the Czech Republic during England's under-17 campaign. This was during the group stages, second game of the tournament. Max, absolutely outstanding in this game. Scored a couple, involved in every goal as well. But on this occasion, this is very unlucky. But look, you can see where I've paused it. Defender, midfielders carrying the ball, moving out of play. about to take a touch, and you can see Max creeping up behind him. For those who have followed Arsenal at youth level, they will know this is a real trait that Max has. He almost creeps up behind someone, he gets in, and he just pinches the ball. There you go. Defender opens his body up. He's about to play it. Max straight in with his left foot, gets it, and this is the bit to look out for. This is what's really impressive. Look at him now. Straight away, springs away, and he carries again upright, running with his shoulders back, knees out, and really pressing forward. And you can see he gets that separation. He creates that moment. And again, he's got an opportunity. Does he slide it into a centre forward here? No, he trusts his own ability. And a big part of that is because he's set. His shoulders are set. He's got his knee over the ball. He's not leaning back. He's in a position to strike the ball. On this occasion, it flies wide. But you can see the reason that he's been able to take that shot and make the decision is because his body's set and he is ready to go. And this is something that we've seen really travel into the first team. This is, again, I showed the example in the first video of him out wide, facing up to a defender. On this occasion, what you can see is he is facing a very tight box. This is 7 minutes after coming on. You can see there's 3, 6, 9 Milan players all in and around the box, plus the keeper. So 10 players in total. And straight ahead of Max, you've got 3 players. You can see the overlaps coming here. So Odegaard goes round him. On this occasion, it's a decoy run. Max is able to get himself back, pulls the ball around, and it's a weak shot. But look, straight after he hits that ball, how close those 2 defenders are to him. We are talking about a 15-year-old here, and there's 2 defenders scampering to close him down in the box. But he had options to pass that ball. And this is something that I've been very critical of Arsenal of. Whenever we get into these positions, again, I'm going to replay this. You can see the ball, Zubimendi's edge of the box. Too often, we have players that are more willing to pop that ball back to a teammate who's in a better position to shoot. When Max hit that ball, Zubimendi was there. And previously, we would have seen Zubimendi, a player in Zubimendi's position, pop that to Lewis Skelly to have a shot. Instead, Max was willing to take it on. Ball goes wide. Absolutely fine with that. But it also rolled across the face of goal. And had someone have gambled on it, there is an opportunity that someone gets on the end of that ball and gets a toe to it. So again, taking shots in the box, high shot volume, it's something that Arsenal have lacked. And this is part of why Max has impressed so much since he come in. But again, I refer back to the second clip, and that was him carrying the ball through the middle of the park after nicking it. On this occasion, you can see it. He gets the ball. He's just won it back. A combination of him and Ben White. Nick it off Joe Linton, and the ball, he's carrying it. Again, I'm pausing here because I want to refer back to the earlier video. Shoulders up, knees out. You can see the arm is starting to come out to protect himself, push that defender away from the ball. He's very good at doing this. He creates that barrier between the defender, his body, and then there's another gap between the ball. He's incredibly good at protecting it. And again, I wondered, how would that translate to playing against smaller, less developed players physically and playing with men? And instantly, he looked like it was no problem. You can see he had the arm out, and then he didn't need it because he was too quick. He created that real distance between him and the defender. And you can see here, again, I'm pausing it because you can see, similar to the last one, he has options as he gets to this position. He could dink that ball through to Declan Rice. A little bit difficult. Declan's making that real run into the box. He could keep carrying. Martinelli's bursting through. But no, again, because he's got his shoulders up, head back, and he's looking at everything in front of him, he's got a full view of the pitch, he's able to make a decision. And on this occasion, bang, very good shot, very good save. And at youth level, I would guarantee that shot goes in the back of the net because there's so much power on it. It's accurate enough, not quite in the corner, but accurate enough at youth level with that volume of power that that's probably saved. Nick Pope is as good as any shot-stopping keeper out there. Terrible with his feet and has got his weaknesses, but as a sheer shot stopper, he is up there with the best, and he's a very good keeper, just shotting out the light and pushing the ball around the post. And you can see the way Max just carried that ball and glided through the pitch. And this continued throughout the game. This is a trait that you will see time and time again. And you can see when he shoots and how upright he is. That's the biggest danger. That's what is really scaring defenders, because they can see him, that he's in complete control of the ball. He doesn't need to look at it. He knows exactly where it is. It's on his toe, and he's able to run comfortably with it. Here, and again, another example, going back to that first clip with England, of him approaching the box. What does he do? Just like the Milan game, 3 defenders in front of him. On this occasion, gets a very good shot away because, again, he's learning very, very quickly. He's processing information at an unbelievably quick rate. He gets the ball, he gets that bit of separation. He doesn't need to push it as far away, and he gets it in on target, and he forces a good save. But again, look at him here. He's facing up to his man and he's standing upright. Too often we've seen Martinelli, by contrast, on the other side of the pitch, going at his man. His shoulders are hunched, his head's down, and he's looking to push that ball, put his head down, beat his man, and then make a decision. Max is already in a position to make that decision very early. And this is scary at such a young age because it's difficult to work out what he really needs to improve in his game to really make an impact. There aren't obvious things because he works forward and back. And on this occasion, you can see the minute he gets that bit of separation, he's got Joe Linton on one side, he's got the defender on the other. It might be Taggart, but he's looking at it and he opens up his body and he plays that shot into a dangerous area. And again, better anticipation in and around the box. Someone kept get at the end of that and put that ball in the back of the net. But look, these are things that we're seeing. He's a player that's willing to shoot. And again, he came on against Tottenham. This was a nothing game, and this is a clip by Will Balsam, who's an unbelievable coverer of academy football. He's a real expert on this topic, so I'd advise you to go and check out his channel. Have a look at the video Will and I did together on Max as well. Some great insights in there from him. But he shared this clip yesterday, and this is him in a game where people were reluctant to hit shots. There were a lot of blocked shots yesterday, and we only had one shot on target, but ultimately it was a game where people were reluctant to shoot. Max comes on, ball breaks. And again, I've talked about Arsenal being too keen to recycle and not keen enough to take a risk and have a shot. On this occasion, you can see Max setting himself here. There isn't a single cell in his brain that's thinking, I'm going to pull this back and pop it off to someone else. He's thinking, I'm shooting and I don't care what foot it's on. So the ball approaches him on his weaker right foot and he puts his laces through that. Really good strike. It's a good block. And again, it kind of fed into Tottenham's plan yesterday. It was bodies in the box, really close down Arsenal and make sure that it was very, very congested in a low block. But these things are so exciting. And again, I've talked about his ability to run and turn. You can see him in this clip. The ball comes into him and you see the defender pushes him in the back, but he's protected it and he spins him and he's away straight down the line. On this occasion, again, facing up, but again, I come back to that 17s clip. The way he uses his body, he's pushing it one way, and the defender starts to set himself. Next minute, the ball's so close to his feet, his hips are set, his shoulders are upright, his head's looking at the bigger picture, straight around his man. He pops it off like he's not there, and that's the scary thing. It's how easy he does these things and how gracefully he just floats past his defender. And here we go. You see Joe Linton scampering back. Max sees that contact coming. You can see how he slows down as he's entering into the box. This boy might be young, but he's not stupid. He knew exactly what was going to happen there. And again, he was looking at his right foot and thinking, am I going to shoot my right? It's not on for me to go on my left because, again, he's got his head up. He was able to anticipate that contact. And you can see it from another angle here, the way the ball was carried into the box. Here we go, head up. He's looking, and he can see Joe Linton, and he's a big oaf. He's a rugby player. He clatters into the back of him, and he clatters into the back of him so hard that he ends up kicking him as well and tripping over him. And again, it's that anticipation from Max. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's smart enough, but also ultimately his biggest skill is his awareness. He's so aware of what's going on around him. And that leads into how he buys fouls on a pitch. And I've put together some clips of him being fouled in these games. And this is the Milan game. Again, I talk about his dribbling and the way he gets the ball close to a player and just springs past them by pushing the ball past them. This is very basic skills. But ultimately, it's because his body's so springy, his anticipation's so good, and he's so aware of what's around him. He's not doing anything spectacular here. He's just got incredible agility and his ability to use his knees, his hips, and all those other features of his body to make sure he can skip past the man. But look at it here. You get the ball in one way, little feint, and then he pushes it with his left foot, and he's away. The second defender's thinking, you've just beaten my mate. I'm not letting you trick me. And he wins a free kick in a very dangerous area, similar to the way Saka did against Real Madrid when he took David Alaba on a walk. This one is moments after he came on in the Newcastle game. And again, Joe Linton's the culprit. This is oafish rugby player behavior. You can see him. Joe Linton goes in. See him going in with his. He's going in with his feet. He's going low, and then he leaves a trailing arm in Max Dowman's face. This is a 15-year-old against a 29-year-old Brazilian international, and he is so keen to lay down a marker on this player that he's hit him in the face and tripped him up at the same time. And ultimately, he really lays one on him, and he goes in firmly. You can see it there. That is just a tackle that you shouldn't be seeing on a football pitch. It's oafish behaviour, and that 100% gets you a yellow card anywhere but St James's Park in the Premier League. We've seen Joe Linton punch players and get away with it. So the rules do apply differently to him. But this is an example. I mentioned he goes forward and he goes backwards. Here he is winning the ball back for Arsenal. You can see him in Zubimendi. Max comes in and he sneaks in, just wins that ball. But he also buys Arsenal a free kick. You can see he's going away. There isn't a lot on. What he does very effectively, he sees he's running into trouble. So he starts to turn and he gets his body away. He gets the ball protected and he makes sure that he buys that foul off Jacob Murphy. So this one, Jacob Murphy gets too tight to him. You can see right now Max starts to turn. He knows he's going nowhere. But again, awareness, head up. He's not running down a blind alley. Head up and he turns, gets his foot out there, makes sure that Murphy has to foul him if he wants to get close to the ball. And again, that's something that it takes years to gain this kind of intuition, the wisdom on a football pitch. Max has it so early on. And this is scary. This is why I keep using that word. I haven't seen anything like this. The only players that come close at this age are probably Cesc Fabregas and Jack Wilshere. And they were both phenomenal talents. Even Ethan Nwaneri, I would say, is a bit more naive still to this day than what Max is. And he's 2.5 years older. And finally, some of the things I want to look at are just his final third actions. So these are actions from the and some of the key moments that we saw from him. So you look at his actions, you look where he gets the ball. He's happy sitting in between defenders here. Again, this is a 15-year-old. This is just a couple of minutes after he came on against Newcastle. So here he is, receiving in between the lines, in between two defenders. But what I loved here, I mentioned the shots earlier that he got away when he saw three players in front of him. Other times where he's hit a shot and there hasn't been any intention of him popping it off to a teammate. On this occasion, he got his head up. He saw that there were four Newcastle defenders. This is a wall. You've got four, then two behind them, and then another two on our players. Even if he was able to get a cross in, the number of players in the box, it's so difficult to beat them. But clever pass. Ben White's given him the overlap. It's not the best pass. There isn't a huge amount Ben White can do with that other than to pull it back. But again, it was Max showing that he's got the awareness that he doesn't always have to go for goal. This is laid on in the Milan game. Very good play. You can see it. The Max is Miles Skelly's approaching on the overlap. It's not the kind of best ball to play. It's not really on. Turns, protects it very well, and then just looks at it. Very cool. No rush. Just cool as you like. I do this every week. And just pops it off to Reece Nelson. In the Tottenham game, very different scenario. Arsenal were struggling to get the ball in the box often enough. And I mentioned him being doubled up on. Look at how quickly you see Son straight out to him. On this occasion, he beats him, doesn't have a second man, and he's able to buy that yard of space and get the ball into the box. And you can see literally the second Son kind of leaves him, loses him. Here we go, crosses it. The minute that separation comes between the two players, Max has the ball in the box, reaches a man, and on another day, you would like to hope Victor Gyökeres is closer to the middle of the goal rather than being drawn to the back post. So if that cutback comes, he's going to smash that in the back of the net. It was a game that at this point had become a bit disjointed, a bit strange, and Spurs playing a very, very low block. But ultimately, Max came on and he added a bit of freshness. In the Newcastle game, again, very late in the game, him still looking extremely bright, gets the ball down the right, similar area, and he gets his head up and he puts a cross in. Back stick, he sees Martinelli there. It's not the best cross. It goes behind him. He's scampering back, but he's able to get his head on it and play it to a teammate. What I loved here, this is one of my favorite moves of the tournament. It's so silly because it's so ridiculous for a 15-year-old to be doing that. Comes back, I mentioned sneaking up on his man. So it's the same thing again. Gets the ball, wins it. Here we go. You can see him. He goes to pass it. Easy pass on to Josh Nichols. The Milan player's looking at him. He starts to go. Nah, see you later. Cruyff turned, mate, and he's away. He's just turned, spun. And on this occasion, I would have liked to have seen Max really drive forward and use some of the examples that we've seen. He gets his head up. Look, seen that very easy pass on to go straight down onto the right wing. Doesn't take it, cuts back, and at this point, he ends up playing an over safe pass. He could have held on to it a bit longer, but you look at it again. Cruyff turn, away he goes, and he's just able to carry. He's in space to run, and on that occasion, he didn't take it. But when you look at these examples, it's hard not to get excited about this kid. He's 15 years old. I'm not going to put huge amounts of pressure on him. I'm not going to sit here and compare him to Lamine Yamal or someone like that. But I have to say, this is like nothing I've seen before. It's incredibly exciting. And I think that's something that we have to make this. We have to make it exciting. We have to make sure that we're not screaming for him to play every time that he isn't in the squad if he doesn't get off the bench. He's 15. We don't know what's going to go on with his body. He could go through growing pains this year. He could have injuries related to growth. He's going to bulk outwards. We don't know how he's going to develop physically. And that is one of the biggest factors of young players. With Ethan, one of the criticisms I have is that he watches the ball too long and he lets the ball come to him as opposed to going to seek it. I've shown you examples today of Max Dowman going and finding the ball, telling his teammates where to go. There was one clip I didn't put in, and it's of Martin Odegaard carrying the ball forward, and he doesn't release to Max. Max throws his arms in the air and complains. This is a 15-year-old complaining to the club captain. He's got the mindset, he's got the mentality, and he's got the kind of senior vocabulary to communicate with his teammates as well on the pitch. They all trust him. Declan Rice is mentoring him. He looks very much part of the group. He's got that cockiness that you want to see in a player this young. And if you want flair in an attacking player, they have to have extreme confidence to be able to do it at youth level, never mind to do it at senior team level. So tell me, what do you think of Max? What do you think we'll see this season? What do you think he needs to improve on? Because I've watched tons and tons of footage of him. I've watched so many games of him live, and I struggle to see many things for him to improve on other than gaining positional understanding at senior level, learning when to press, when to track back, when to go, and ultimately things that do just come with experience. But I want to hear more from you guys. What do you think he needs to do to play this season? How much do you think he'll play this season? And what's next for him? Where will he play? But if you've enjoyed this show, please hit the like button, please subscribe to the channel, and please keep coming back for more. We'll see you again very soon. Have a great day.